Hey YouTube, I've got something just a little bit different this time. I'm going to show you a specific part of my Blu-ray collection. This is really inspired from Adam at Spin 1984. He did a very similar collection update a week or so ago, but there was one item that in particular that I wanted that I've been missing from this set, that I wasn't able to get. All the local Tesco's to me that's usually stock these didn't have the latest one and what may possibly be the last one, but Adam kindly, while he was out and about, found one for his collection and picked up a second one for me, which I'm so happy and so grateful that he did, and that's arrived in the post today, so we're going to unbox that in a bit. But before we do, we're just going to go through these few items that are in my collection. So what we're talking about are big sleeves. So this is a big sleeve. Looks like a Laserdisc or even a vinyl album. Same or similar dimensions. We've got a card on the back which just pops off. It's pretty much the same for all of them. You've got this sort of J-card looking thing, and you've got all the information on the back there, and we'll look inside this one. I'm not going to do this with all of them, although this video will be an hour long. So you've got your discs. For the Force Awakens, we've pretty much got 2 Blu-rays and a DVD. So you've got the Blu-ray bonus disc there, the Blu-ray movie and DVD movie. And I think this was the only release in the UK for the Force Awakens that came with both a Blu-ray and a DVD, if I'm not mistaken. Also, these all come with art cards. Now, pretty much most of these I've done videos wrapping them and if they were sealed and showing all that stuff, so we're not going to do that again. But they all have the contents, a little picture on the front there, and for the most part on the back as well. So we'll probably take a quick look at all of those. Yeah, so that's pretty much the contents. So these first came out in, I want to say, November 2016 or thereabouts. There was initially only 8 released, and they were available at all big retailers. HMV had them, Zavvi had them, Amazon, even the likes of Zoom and the Hut and other places like that. So the first 8 that came out all together, there was also Guardians of the Galaxy and 4 Disney titles, which, if memory serves me, there was the animated Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, the live action Cinderella and Finding Dory. Of those, maybe Finding Dory is of interest to me. Well, Aladdin as well. I already have Aladdin on Blu-ray. It's one of the very few Disney animated movies that I enjoy enough to own, that I'll watch periodically. That and Wreck-It Ralph. Most of the others I don't care for enough to really own unless I got them for really, really cheap. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Yeah, so those 6 were released, like I say, November-ish 2016. It wasn't until I think March the following year 2 more came out, again available pretty much everywhere. So we got Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. Again, you got your contents, art cards, discs and so on. After those 2 were released, The next one to come out was Rogue One, and for the first time it was exclusive. It was exclusive to Tesco's here in the UK. I want to say initially this was only available in store. I never actually checked online at the time, but I remember hearing somewhere that it was only available in store. I didn't even know this had been released until probably a week or two after the fact. I came across one on eBay, and I was gobsmacked. I thought it was absolutely awesome looking. I'd already bought the Blu-ray, the Zavvi exclusive steelbook, and as soon as I saw this online, it took me quite a while to find out where it was from, because Amazon didn't have it, Zavvi didn't have it, HMV didn't have it, and there's quite a few of them listed on eBay, but nobody was describing or mentioning where it was available. At that time I didn't know it was Tesco's. I think it was Big Paulie, his video, eventually found on YouTube, because I think he'd struggled. He said that he'd struggled to find one, and it wasn't until he was on holiday, maybe a week or two after it was released, that he found one in the store wherever he was staying, away from home. And I was immediately out in the car. I went to 3 local Tesco's and nobody had them. They were well out of print at that point, I think. And it eventually took me, I want to say, a couple of months more maybe, before I got one eventually from CEX, and I had to pay a pretty penny for it as well. But I didn't pay cash or credit or whatever. I actually used vouchers from trade-ins, so it didn't really cost me any real money, other than stuff that I already traded in. So I kind of looked at it that way, that even though it cost a lot, it was vouchers. Anyway, the next one to come out later that year, I think it was maybe a month or two later, T2 Trainspotting. Again, totally missed out on the release of this. It was a couple of weeks later, and I couldn't find one in store. Ooh, excuse me. And again, I went to CEX and I got one of these from them off the website, and it arrived without the J card, and I was really disappointed. I watched the film and I was really disappointed again. I think it had been hyped up too much. I need to sit down and watch it a second time, with a bit of hindsight, that it's maybe hyped up. I don't think it was a bad film. I don't know what it was. I guess it didn't turn out as really as good as I hoped it would. But eventually I sold that one that I got from CX on eBay, and maybe a month or so later I picked this one up, and it cost me a tenner. I was so chuffed. It appeared on eBay. I'd been searching for a while, and either I think a couple had come up and I'd bid on, and they'd gone over 20 quid, and I didn't bid any higher. Eventually somebody won them at whatever they sold for, I can't remember. And this one came up brand new sealed. It had a $9.99 starting bid with free postage, and I bid on it probably within the first hour or two. It had a full 9 days and 20 odd hours to go when I bid on it. And when it came to the end of the auction, I was actually driving. I was on my way home, and I had to pull in for the end of the auction, and I put in a second bid just in case somebody tried to outbid me in the last few seconds of the auction, which often happens. It didn't, so I snagged that for a tenner, including postage. I think the seller was pretty miffed that that's all he got for it, but there you go. Then after that, there was a couple more Tesco's releases. There was, was it Beauty and the Beast? Yeah, the live action Beauty and the Beast, which I didn't bother with. I wasn't fussed. The next one I got was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think this was the first one that I bought that was more expensive, certainly at retail, than any of the others. And that's because it came with a vinyl record inside, which I understand why they did it. It was there to promote the soundtrack, because it only had, I think, 3 or 4 tracks as opposed to the whole soundtrack on it. This for me was a blind buy, even though I knew it was something I was going to watch. I hadn't seen it in the cinema. I'd seen the trailers. There was no way it was something I wasn't going to watch. So yeah, I grabbed that one. Next one that I picked up was, I believe, Spider-Man, which came out towards the end of the summer last year. Spider-Man Homecoming. Again, this was a little more expensive. I think at this point the price point had gone from 20 quid to 25 quid after Guardians of the Galaxy. The £25 seemed to be the new norm for the pricing. And I think it was just after Spider-Man came out, within about a week after Spider-Man came out, there was an announcement that they were going to be releasing another 10 new titles on big sleeve, and they weren't just going to be the usual Disney, Marvel, Star Wars. The only one that we'd had up till that point was Trainspotting, which is a Sony release, I believe. But suddenly we were getting Paramount, we were getting Universal, even the BBC were getting in on the act with big sleeves. So I was kind of hoping that it meant we were going to get more and more and more. But after those 10, we went back to just the new movie release, if you like. Those that were out day one, these were all reissues of older films. I think maybe one was new. We got a couple of movie sets. So Back to the Future. A lot of people have said they don't like this artwork. I do. I think it's really good. Obviously, there's the big mistake that the text in the glasses is not mirrored as it should be. But other than that, yeah, I like that. The only thing I don't like about this one is the J card. It's not like a sleeve like the others are that this slides into. It's just a very, very, very floppy piece of almost paper. It's stuck on the front with one of those little round clear stickers, and it didn't take me 5 minutes after opening this to damage that, so I wasn't very happy about that. Also, that same week we got the Jurassic Park trilogy, the Indiana Jones collection 4-movie set. Both Jurassic Park and Back to the Future were Blu-ray and DVD combos. Indiana Jones wasn't, I guess because it's 4 movies and a bonus disc, fitting in another 4 or 5 discs. There wouldn't have been enough room, so I guess that's the reason why they did that. And I got Valerian. This is an odd film. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's a Luc Besson movie, and it's action-packed and it's a lot of fun. There's just some sequences and some parts of it that are entirely CG, and I'm not even going to say it's bad CG. It looks spectacular. I just didn't believe it. It didn't convince me that it was real at all, and it kind of spoilt the movie for me. I think also this, if not the only one, I'm trying to think if there is another one, but it was certainly the first of these to be released in 3D. Why they didn't do the Star Wars and the Marvel movies as 3D, I don't know, but Disney obviously didn't want to do that. Also, at the same time, Fast and Furious 8. This is one of my most recent pickups. I got this from Tesco's Tesco Direct closing down as part of a 2 for £10 deal. In fact, the other one I got in that 2 for £10 was Valerian, another copy of Valerian, which I took into CEX. So of those 10 that came out, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There was Frozen, The Lion King, Nightmare Before Christmas, which I kind of want to get, but I think that's probably going to be the most difficult to find because that went out of print before any of the others and long before Tesco's started selling them off. So Frozen, The Lion King, Nightmare Before Christmas, Blue Planet 2 again is one that I wouldn't mind getting, and E.T., which with Fast and Furious 8 they were the first 4K releases. So on this one you've got 4K, Blu-ray and DVD, and digital copy as well in that set. Then the first release this year was Thor Ragnarok. I love this film. It was so much fun. Again, it was another one that I hadn't seen at the cinema, so home video was my first viewing of it, and in that first week I actually watched it twice. I enjoyed it that much. And then most recently, another 4K is The Last Jedi. Like most of these, they don't get announced until very close to the release date. I think this was less than a week before release. Thor, I believe, oh no, Spider-Man was the day before release. It was actually announced. Thor might have been the same, or possibly the week before. But when this was announced, and they showed that artwork, I did mention this when I picked it up, I didn't like that artwork at all. I thought they'd been really lazy and cheap. I was completely wrong when it arrived, and I actually saw it. Well, it didn't arrive, I went out and bought it. But when I saw it, I was turned around completely. I think it's absolutely fantastic artwork, and I'm really chuffed to have got that. So yeah, that's up until yesterday. This was my entire big sleeve collection. Like I say, I'm missing pretty much all their Disney titles. There's only a couple of them that I really have any interest in. Blue Planet 2 I want to get if I find it cheap enough, and Nightmare Before Christmas as well. But like I say, I haven't actually looked to see what the prices are on that, but I expect that's going to be one of the most expensive because it was one of the first to truly go out of print. I mean, Rogue One went out of print last year, but then it came back, and for a while that was quite expensive. Anyway, we'll cut here for a moment and come straight back. Okay, so I'm back again. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the most recent release from this collection, none of my local Tesco's had it in stock. Tesco's Direct, which were closing down, and are closing down. I think there's maybe 2 more weeks left. Didn't have the latest release up on the store, so it's only going to be available in local stores, and it's only the biggest of the local stores that stock the big sleeves, which are the Tesco's Extras. So none of the smaller stores carry them, but none of my local Tesco's Extras, even though one of them still has big sleeves. One I'd not been to before, and the one where I used to get most of my big sleeves, only because they put them out sooner, I've stopped carrying big sleeves completely. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought my only alternative would be either buying one off a scalper on eBay for a stupid amount of money, which is not even an option, or waiting for CEX, which up until recently weren't even showing them on the website, and there are still releases from this big sleeve collection that have been out since last year that as yet haven't appeared on that website. So some of those are going to be difficult to get. Case in point, A Nightmare Before Christmas isn't available. Big sleeve edition isn't available at CEX. So yeah, that one I think might be a struggle to get. So eventually, was it last week? I'd got a message on YouTube, a private message on YouTube from Adam at Spin 1984. I'll put a link down below to his channel. Go and check him out. He's done some awesome videos. Anyway, he'd seen my previous videos of my frustration of not being able to find Black Panther, which is the new release, and while he was out, he found one for his own collection and grabbed a second one specifically for me, and then contacted me and asked me if I wanted it. Now this had come through on YouTube as a private message. I'm obviously not checking my private messages often enough, because I think it had been there for several days and I hadn't realised. When I get a comment on a video, I get an email straight away. But when I get a private message, YouTube don't send me any kind of notification to say that it's there. Anyway, that's a different rant. When I did finally check my messages, I saw that the message was there that if I wanted it, this copy of Black Panther was available for me. So I said, absolutely, definitely, I'll have it. I sent him the cash, well, not the cash, but I sent him the money to cover the costs, and it's arrived in the post today in this great big massive card envelope. So we're going to get into this right now. Yes, because it's not going to come out, is it? That is so tightly booked in that. Right, there we go. Oh, I'm so pleased. Yes, finally. There's nothing else in there. No, good. It might come in handy at some point. Like sleeve. I'm going to be watching this as soon as I'm done with this video. I've been waiting to see this for months and months and months and months. Blu-ray and DVD, exclusive art cards. So happy, so happy. Right, that's it. All my big sleeve edition Blu-rays. Just want to say, Adam, thank you so much for grabbing this for me. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't picked this up. Yeah, really, really thank you so much. I'm really, really chuffed. Cheers. Now, I don't know if it's officially been announced, or whether it's something that will just disappear, I guess. But apparently Tesco's are not going to be exclusive distributor of big sleeves anymore. Now, whether that means they'll not make any more, I don't know. Obviously, those first few were available from all retailers, I'm guessing that for Tesco's alone to put these out, it hasn't been worth it for them. Maybe there's a minimum number they've got to produce, and for them to have all of them is too much. But that said, a lot of them have sold out, or, well, I say sold out. Rogue One sold out. Trainspotting 2 sold out, but they were all reissued. Now, whether they produced more copies of those or whether they just found more stock in the warehouse, I don't know. But the likes of Thor and Spider-Man kind of disappeared from the stores, even though they were still available online. So were they so low on stock that they didn't have enough to distribute out to stores, or did they just stop sending them to stores? I don't know. The only one I know for sure that actually truly went out of stock was, like I mentioned, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh my goodness, A Nightmare Before Christmas. Because I was looking fairly regularly on the website for new releases, and that was the only one that was constantly out of stock. I think it came back once after the first time it went out of stock for a very short time, and then went out of stock again and was never available until they've sold them all off now. So if Tesco's are no longer going to do these, will the likes of Zavvi, Amazon, HMV and so on, if they've been distributed between those three and other spots like Zoom and The Hut and whoever else, then it might be manageable for them to sell them without them hanging around. All that said, all of those stores still have old stock of Force Awakens and Cinderella and Finding Dory. I don't think any of them have got any Guardians of the Galaxy. That seems to have gone out of stock. I'm just trying to think what else I saw. Zoom, I'm sure, have still got Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. I think they've got the most, I don't know if they've got the most stock, but they've got the most titles available. HMV have all 8 of the original titles on their website, but only 1 is in stock. All the rest are out of stock. I was kind of hoping that we'd get Civil War, but more so Solo, Star Wars story, and definitely Star Wars Episode 9, just so I'd have the trilogy of the Star Wars movies on the big sleeve. That might not happen now, but we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, so this video has gone on for way longer than I expected, and if you're still watching, thank you very much. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm not sure what we'll do next, but I'm gonna have a look through my collection, and maybe at some point I'm gonna do another Arrow collection or series like I did a few years ago. But that's, my Arrow collection has grown so much, then I need to do those again. I've been asked to do Shameless and 101 films and 88 films as well, so I'll probably do all of those at some point. Anyway, I'm rambling on again. Thanks very much. I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra.